I've been making an absolute killing in the cryptocurrency market at this point, as well as a couple of the other penny stocks that I had invested in a while ago that actually started rocketing up, like BLOZF, which I told you about. It went up from the 0.15 that I bought it at, and right now it's like $1.28 or something like that. But it went up as high as like $1.96 or something like 2 weeks ago, and then it fell back down after some sell-offs. Thing about it is I'm still in it, and I got 10,000 shares of the shit, and I'm at $1.26, 27, or 28, whatever it is. But right now, as you remember, I had published a couple of videos. You can look at my video list. See, I like putting video lists out so this way people can look back and say, wow, Big Truck Series, you were right. That shit shot up. I had no idea. So anyway, Bitcoin right now at, what is this, 326 on December 4th, $11,411. Last week it shot up to $10,000 over the weekend, but then it blew through 11,000. And then there was a massive sell-off because you got to remember, a lot of these people use those electronic fund traders. So if they set their computer to sell everything or whatever at like 11 or 12 or whatever, what happens is you get these automatic sell-offs that happen while you're sleeping. So anyway, right now Bitcoin is $11,411. Ethereum fell the most, $464. Litecoin right now is $102, but Litecoin had dropped down to as low as I believe 78. Like I could show you that. Litecoin dropped a little bit, but that gave people a chance to buy in if they hadn't already bought in. Like if you had bought Litecoin when I did, when it was only like $3.90, you'd be way up right now. If you spent $1,000 right now, you'd have a lot of money. Like I can't do the calculation off the top of my head, but it was $79. If you see that, it was $79 at its lowest this week. So anyway, the reason why I'm making this video, I'm not going to make this too long, is because exactly what I was afraid of started happening. The IRS has started demanding records from my trading site. Some people ask me who I trade with. I trade from Coinbase. And they started asking for records because the problem is when you've got people making... See, the amazing thing about cryptocurrency is you've got people who can literally, without a joke, without lying, you got people making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 an hour. As this shit goes up or this shit goes down, $10,000, $20,000, it just comes right away. It just comes. And then it can disappear too. Like Bitcoin went up to, what was it, 11,000, like 800 or something like that. What was Bitcoin's high this week? Bitcoin's high was look at that shit, $11,802. You have no idea how high I'm up. But here's the real problem, capital gains tax. So the IRS is demanding that Coinbase turn over all its records. You could type this shit up. You can look at it yourself. So the IRS is demanding that Bitcoin hand over records so that they can fuck us in April. And I'm just going to say it like it is. Like some people say, oh, why do you curse so much? You know why I curse so much? Because it's like they rammed a fist up my ass and took the money right out of my pocket. That's why I'm cursing. So I can't even spend my earnings. I have to keep my earnings in a separate account just so when my CPA looks through my records, he can tell me, yeah, well, guess what? This is how much you owe. And then he's going to show me the number and I'm going to get angry and say, shit, I wish I was part of Tea Party because this taxation is bullshit. So anyway, Bitcoin wants all your records. So don't think that just because you made some money in cryptocurrency, don't think you can just spend that shit. You can't. Before you spend a dime of it, you have to pay the IRS. Otherwise, you'll end up owing more than you made. Trust me, it happens. Not to me, but you know, all your favorite singers and rappers and athletes, half of those motherfuckers in tax debt. And that's not where you want to be. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. Second thing I wanted to mention is something I'm actually very glad to hear. Venezuela is planning to launch an oil-backed cryptocurrency. Now, whatever that cryptocurrency is, I want in on it. China is helping Venezuela launch an oil-backed cryptocurrency. So they're planning on using diamonds, gold, and oil. Now, mind you, you got to remember, Venezuela is a gigantic country. It's a gigantic plot of land. They're oil rich. There is absolutely no reason why Venezuela should be in the problems it's in. So basically, here's the bottom line. Like, you can believe Fox News, you can believe MSNBC, you can believe whatever you want. Guess what the bottom line is? The bottom line is that it's economic warfare against Venezuela, and that's the reason why in our hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere, Venezuela, as an oil-rich nation, is suffering what it's suffering. When that guy Chavez came out against Bush, all of a sudden, Venezuela started having massive amounts of problems. No, this is nothing more than economic warfare. Can I prove it? Absolutely not, because I'm not in the White House and I'm not in the CIA, I'm not in the NSA, none of that shit. But I know it when I see it. Haiti is a perfect example. I've been to that island. Haiti and DR share the same island. So for one of these countries to be dirt fucking poor and the other one to be a great place for your American and European tourists to go and to have people slave for them that tells me that this is about economic warfare. That's what it is. So you know what these people are saying, all these countries, and the average cryptocurrency person knows this. The average person is saying, you know what? These people said, fuck the US dollar. That's what they said, just like that. I'm not hiding my language. They said, fuck the US dollar. So you know what they're going to do? These countries, all of those African countries you hear about that are being stolen from, pilfered from by these European diamond oil thieves who are going over there and fighting these shadow wars and claiming that they're doing it because of ISIS. Yo, guess what? These countries have basically said, yeah, fuck the US dollar. What we're going to do is we're going to start cryptocurrency, or we're going to invest in cryptocurrencies, and we're going to create currencies that are not backed by the US dollar, which is not any longer backed by gold. I don't even know what backs it. Some people say it's a trust, but it's a fiat currency. See, that's really the real problem with Bitcoin and all these cryptocurrencies. The problem is these things are still valued by crypto. The cryptocurrencies are valued by fiat money. So when you talk about how much Bitcoin is worth, the only way you can talk about what Bitcoin is worth is by talking about it as a dollar. Bitcoin does not have its own value. The problem is when the electricity goes out, when I turn my computer off, there is no more Bitcoin. But the US dollar is a piece of paper. So the problem is Bitcoin is valued in fiat currency. Unlike gold, unlike silver, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. I can't sell it like jewelry. I can't do that. It has no intrinsic value. Gold it's always had value, and it never won't have value because they need it for computer electronics. They need it for this. They need it for that. It doesn't rust, etc., etc. Silver has antimicrobial properties, etc., etc. Uranium has use. Those things have intrinsic value. But now Bitcoin is a way for these countries to pull themselves off of these IMF, the International Monetary Fund. You know, all the conspiracy theorists will say, yeah, well, it's basically economic warfare that they have to deal with. But the thing about it is, through cryptocurrency, any of these people over there with a computer or access to a cell phone can have the power to control their currency. Any of those people over there, they can have the power to control their economy. And it's anonymous. Now, I will tell you this. The one problem that I have with all cryptocurrencies is the volatility. The US dollar has never lost 50% of its value in a day or two, and it's never gained 50% of its value in a weekend. That doesn't happen. Those real fiat currencies are controlled, and they're centralized. Those things do not lose and gain value that quickly. So because of that, the US dollar is, for most people, it's the safer investment. The thing about it is with cryptocurrency is going to give these other countries that have been fucked over by economic warfare, cryptocurrency is going to give these people a chance to rebuild their economy without being controlled by other countries. So why am I making this video? It's 9 minutes in, so I'm just going to end with this. Venezuela is setting up its own cryptocurrency, and China is basically helping them do it. Basically, China wants their oil. But the thing that I like about China is when China goes into Africa and starts digging up the place, the thing about it is at least they help those people develop. When India goes in, at least they help those people develop so that they don't leave it the way they came in. Unlike those bullshit shit movies in Hollywood that show you that Africa's backwards. If you were to go to Africa, just like I did and I shot a video in Seychelles, no, Africa is slowly modernizing, but the problem is there's so much economic warfare because the place was carved up by Europe that it's taking them a longer time. Cryptocurrency is going to help these people to rebuild, and it's going to help these people to build to the point where you're not even going to imagine, you're not even going to be able to recognize these countries in a couple of years. You watch and see. But anyway, I'm saying this because some people say, oh yeah, I'd love you to give me trade secrets and this, that, and other. This is a trade secret I'm giving you. Venezuela is about to create a cryptocurrency. I don't know what it's going to cost when it comes out, but I want in. I'm going to have $5,000 or $10,000 ready to buy Venezuela's cryptocurrency. Venezuela is an oil-rich, gas-rich, gold and diamond-rich country. Regardless what they tell you on Fox fake news, and regardless what they tell you on MSNBC shit and CNN shit, regardless what they tell you there, those countries got value. Now, just because the economic warfare says otherwise, fuck them. But I'm going to have my money ready to invest. So guess what? Only one of two things can happen. Either I can be 100% wrong about these massive land masses being unable to do anything and not being able to couple with China and with Russia in order to create themselves a better economy, or I will invest that money and then turn around and suddenly I've got Bitcoin level money. But, you know, MSNBC and Fox and CNN told me how bad the place was. But all of a sudden, the entire world decided to invest in these countries in order to build up their own economies devoid of the US dollar. So I don't know what you think about it. I don't know how much money you could possibly risk. Because me personally, I don't go to casinos. When I go to casinos, I just go in, I have a drink, I have some chicken wings, and I sit there and I watch their stupid shows. I honestly have no idea how to play poker. I honestly have no idea how to play the roulette wheel. I honestly have no idea how to play fucking blackjack or any of that shit. I just go in, I have a couple of drinks, I sit with the women, we chill. But when I get ready to do my gambling and investing, I do it using stocks. And you've been watching some of my Market Watch videos. Yeah, I admit they're crazy. The thing about it is I've been making money. And some of the people who actually listen to me and invested, I get emails all the time about the fact that, like, they got up on BLOZF and some of them got up into Bitcoin when I told them to and everything. But I believe in this. I believe that these countries detaching themselves from the dollar and detaching themselves from fiat currency, and I believe that you got to understand, these countries have labor. These countries have resources. When these countries decide to detach themselves from these fiat currencies, first of all, anybody who happened to invest in them, they're getting rich. I mean, you can't not get rich when you invest in oil and fucking gold. I mean, we've been investing in oil and gold since the beginning of man. I mean, it just doesn't not happen. I mean, you're talking about you invest maybe 1,000 or 2,000 or 5 or whatever, and suddenly you're looking at Bitcoin prices. I mean, you know, granted, not everybody has a lot of money to invest, but I'm going to be paying very close attention to Venezuela's proposed cryptocurrency. I'm going to be paying very close attention to it. And the moment that it becomes possible to invest in, oh, you can bet I'm going to have a couple thousand ready to roll into that shit, especially if it's under $1. If it's under $1, I want a lot of it. If it's under $1, I want a lot of it. And, you know, at the very most that could happen is, like, you don't get gains and you just say, yeah, well, I got a couple $1,000 sitting in Venezuela. But think about the other possibility. You know, I wish if I could go back in time, you know, I got into Bitcoin when it was below 500, but if I could go back into time when Bitcoin was fucking, what was it, like 30 cents, and I invest like $1,000, if I had 333 Bitcoin right now, I'd be worth $3.8 million. And the IRS obviously is going to take damn near half of that shit. So, okay, I'd only be worth about 1.4, 1.5 or something like that. They're going to take more than half. And then you got all the state fees and all that. But if I could go back in time, believe me, I would do it. But I can't go back in time. But what I can do is I can see where the market is headed, and I can be ready to invest based on that. And I want you to also think about something. While these losers are talking about this bullshit that doesn't matter, while they're talking about Flynn and they're lying to you, and they're talking about what is it called? How they're talking about this nonsense about the taxes and Flynn and all this shit, and they're pulling away your concentration and they're distracting you. I just want you to think about something. Besides me, nobody else has mentioned anything about Venezuela's cryptocurrency. Think about that.